What's up, YouTube? It's your girl QueenKarisma, and today is a new day. Alright, so today I just want to have a conversation with you guys really quickly about something that's really, are you serious? So y'all just gonna rob the place so that y'all can interrupt my video? Anyways, like I was saying, today is a brand new day. It's QueenKarisma here. I want to bring conversation to the situation because I don't want us to stop. I don't want us to stop talking about the situation because it's important that we keep the trail going where we are fighting for justice. Now, you may be asking, what the heck is she talking about? Well, you're about to find out. Alright, so I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I dedicated 12 years of my life to gymnastics. 12 years! And I'm only 22. So, if you do the math, which I'm really bad at, I'm number illiterate, but I'm pretty sure that equals most of my life being dedicated to gymnastics, or more than half of my life being dedicated to gymnastics at this point. So, needless to say, I'm an advocate for gymnastics. I really am. But anyways, this is a sport that I called my own. I was obsessed with. I breathed gymnastics. I inhaled gymnastics. I exhaled gymnastics. Everything was gymnastics. My hours, my everyday, before school, after school, during school, everything was gymnastics. On the weekends, I was dedicated. And not only was I dedicated, but I also coached as well. So I love gymnastics enough to be able to do gymnastics for as many hours as I did and coach, and I was really good at it. But anyways, gymnastics was a religion for me. It was my everything. It was my way of living, to be honest with you. But while I'm not trying to bash gymnastics in any kind of way by making this video, because again, it's been half my life I've been doing gymnastics, and the people who have dedicated their time and effort to helping me, carving me into being the person I am, I just want to shine a little bit of light on some problematic areas, which it's really obvious that there are problematic areas just from some of the things I'm sure you've heard on the news about gymnastics with the whole sexual abuse thing, which I'm going to talk about as well. It's just really crazy. But I'm just going to talk about some other things with gymnastics just so that there's a conversation, so that it's not something that's in the unknown, because it's something that is known by gymnasts and coaches and even parents. But it's really hard whenever you're in a sport that requires discipline, and the kind of discipline where it almost seems like you have to use this method in order to be a good coach or to be able to condition your gymnasts to be these kinds of people. But during my time professionally competing with gymnastics, I competed both artistic and TNT gymnastics. There's different types of gymnastics. Artistic gymnastics is the same thing. Gabby, Douglas, Simone Biles, me, Shawn Johnson, Nastia Lukin, Ali Raisman, all of those people. That's the type of gymnastics that is, artistic gymnastics. Vault, bars, beam, floor. And I also did TNT gymnastics, which is trampoline and tumbling. I didn't do trampoline. I only competed tumbling. I was a really good tumbler. I competed artistic gymnastics for over 11 years. I don't know the exact day I stopped, because at one point I was doing TT and artistic gymnastics. But for the majority of the time I did artistic gymnastics. And I went through hell and back. I went to multiple gyms. I ran through multiple coaches. When I say ran through, I mean I had so many coaches. And with that experience alone, I've experienced a lot of haunting things that gymnastics can bring. You know, I was too weak, I was too strong, I was too muscular, I looked manly, I sweat too much, I'm too white for a black girl, I was hit, I was dragged, I was verbally and mentally conditioned. Hear that again. I was verbally and mentally conditioned to believe that abuse was okay, and that in order to succeed in the sport of gymnastics, I had to allow this method of training to get me to where I wanted to go. And I was unaware that I had a voice. I was unaware that this was not ethical, that it wasn't right. So I allowed it to happen because I wanted to succeed just like everybody wanted to succeed. It wasn't a thing where I was going to let someone run over me. But in gymnastics, with the type of discipline you receive, it's really easy to confuse discipline with abuse. It's really easy to confuse it as a coach and as a gymnast, because you feel like, you know, they have these rights over me, because so many gyms I went to was the same exact way, and you got all these hundreds and whatevers of children going to these gyms, going through the same thing, and it's just not okay. We have to stand up and know the difference. And for example, there's a video out there with a coach sitting on a girl trying to get a split. That's something that I personally don't call abuse, only because I went through that, and I may cry because it hurts so bad, but knowing that, I guess the main thing is I gave consent, and I guess that's probably something that gymnastics should start in making a part of training, making sure that there's consent either from the gymnast or from the parent to allow a certain type of method of training to be able to allow the gymnast to succeed. And even the gymnast there was saying that this is just something we do, it's nothing bad, and that the parent was being over dramatic, which I understand the parent's point of view, but as a gymnast myself, I understand what they're trying to do and the point of it and the reason for it. But getting back on track, I was unaware I had a voice. Transferring to a new gym is like being introduced to a new family. So it's not the funnest thing. It's like going to a new school and having to make new friends. It's awkward at first, and you don't want to do that. You want to stay where you are. It's the same thing with gymnastics. So with me transferring to different gyms, it's like it being introduced to a new family. But I was introduced to this very last family I went to, and for this last time I switched gyms. I competed artistic gymnastics there, and I competed TNT gymnastics there as well, by some of the most amazing Russian coaches out there. These are the only Russian coaches I ever had, but I know for a fact that they are the best. I may be biased, but I don't care, because they are amazing, and I love them with all my heart. I competed artistic gymnastics, and I was eventually introduced to TNT gymnastics by that gym, which I didn't even know existed. I really had no idea that there was this kind of gymnastics at all, which is amazing. But I was introduced to it by the gym Elite World Gymnastics. I was coached by the Kachalovas, and Mazzarelli. And I'm saying the last names just because there's so many of them. I don't feel like naming all of them. Too lazy. And I'm talking too much. But these coaches, they showed me a side of gymnastics that I didn't even know existed. And when I say I didn't know existed, again, like I was saying, there's different methods of training, and this method was a method that allowed me to understand that you don't have to be mentally or physically abused as a gymnast in order to be disciplined and in order to be great and successful at gymnastics. So I just wasn't aware that that was even a method of training. Going to Elite World Gymnastics allowed me to be introduced to a different way of training and being trained. It's really sad to say, but as a gymnast for 12 years, I truly believed that blood, sweat, and tears were the words that defined gymnastics, which sounds crazy, sounds like I'm being overdramatic, but I bet you can ask any gymnast, and they may feel the same. In these other gyms, I was shown love in a different way. I was shown that I was cared for in a different way, but it didn't come across as that. I understand their reasoning behind why they treated me or talked to me a certain way, but they showed me things I never was shown by any other coaches or gyms, and it proved to me, this was my proof. This is like my standing point. It was my proof that this was an injustice in gymnastics, that there was an injustice in gymnastics and in different practices and methods of gymnastics. The coaches I trained with, they showed me another side of gymnastics, which basically proved the injustices and showed me that this is not something that gymnastics is supposed to be made up of. I learned that this is what I knew wasn't right. And so it was never something I felt like I should have a voice on. And once I learned it, I still didn't use my voice. I was out of the situation, so I almost felt like I shouldn't worry about it, when there's others out there who deal with the same thing on a daily and regular, smegular basis, which is not right. But anyways, they showed me safe methods of training. They dedicated their time, energy, passion, and effort into getting me and other gymnasts as well at the gym past the limits that we set for ourselves, not even realizing that we put limitations on our abilities. So they showed us how to break those walls. I competed TNT gymnastics for about a year, and just because I went from artistic gymnastics to TNT didn't mean that I was all skilled and stuff, because it's a completely different type of gymnastics. The skill set is different. I competed TNT gymnastics for the full year, and during that time, I went from level 7 all the way to elite gymnast. And during that year, I also got a scholarship for gymnastics, which I'll try to insert the pictures right here. And I also got a spot, earned a spot, because I worked hard. Honey, I worked hard. I worked my butt off, matter of fact. So I was entitled a gymnast on the USA national team. So there it is. I claim it. I was and I am a role model, just like everyone really is in their own different, unique way. And behind the success, behind signing autographs, behind taking pictures with people who were fans of me, with kids who I trained with parents, with people who motivated me, people who I motivated, behind the smiles, holding my head high, there were lies, dirty lies, hidden behind the truth. It's because gymnastics honestly is bittersweet. It's a love-hate relationship. And you have to understand, as a gymnast, as a parent, as a coach, though it's bittersweet, it's still sweet. Just like sour candy. But it still entails and advertises a dream that can really just come true from having dedication, discipline, putting in hard work, and challenging yourself. But they forget to disclaim, or at least give attention to the dark side of gymnastics. That's kind of neglecting your gymnast. So with that being said, I feel like it's important to educate gymnasts on healthy living, on verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and allowing politics and favoritism to not be involved in sports decisions. As a gymnast, especially in TNT gymnastics, because of how far I gotten, I was able to see the politics behind gymnastics that shows favoritism to certain gymnasts, certain gyms, certain academies, certain coaches. That's not fair. And a lot of the stuff I just described are things that I hands-on and personally experienced myself. This kind of leads up to the whole situation we're seeing happen in the news now, and it's the sexual abuse. Now, I did train at the Caroli Ranch in Texas, because that was obviously where the USA national team trained. Me going to camp at the Caroli Ranch, I did not, and gratefully did not, suffer from any type of abuse. And that's because the TNT gymnast had a different doctor than the artistic gymnast. This is just my story. So to find out that gymnasts were strong enough to speak on this situation and yet they were ignored, first of all, that does something to you. If you experience something that you know you're not supposed to experience, or something like sexual abuse or any type of abuse at all, and you are confident enough to speak on it, and then someone just pushes it aside, I can't imagine what that feels like. And I'm sorry that any of you gymnasts had to go through that. It's disgusting and it's saddening. Cases were dismissed, things were put to the side by the one organization that gymnasts, parents, coaches, and fans hold on a high pedestal. Needless to say, I'm really proud and I support the gymnasts that were tired of it and said enough was enough. Change is about to happen. Hashtag MeToo is not just a hashtag trending topic on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's a stance that we've all taken and the beginning of bringing power to voice, fight, and confidence against a disgusting and horrifying experience. But we have to remember, we have to bring actions to these words. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next.